A beautiful thing. A beautiful thing.
Okay, this is the Ask Marla and Dave segment.
I'd be the Dave part.
And I'm definitely Marla, always,
Okay.
Every time we turn on the
I'll
thing.
play Dave today.
And I wake up and I'm not just Marla on TV, I'm Marla right here with the Ask Dave and Marla.
Let's jump into the question. Hook us up.
Ladybird. Question was, how long is it necessary? This is a good one, honestly, because a lot of people do ask this. How long is it necessary to date before you can expect a marriage proposal? Dun, 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 dun. What do you think?
I personally don't think that's the right question to ask, but since you asked it, I think it should be however
Right
long,
question.
however amount of time, however long, however short it's going to take for you to thoroughly know yourself and your reasons for wanting to get married.
One.
Thoroughly know the person that you're you're thinking about getting married to.
Two.
And make sure that your reasons are the same, that you're getting married for the right reasons. You're not expecting the other person to fix a fault or to make up for a fault that you have, and he compliments me so perfectly or she compliments me so perfectly because even though I do this one thing that's not so cool, this person actually has my back. No, you need to not be fixing problems with marriage. You need to make sure you get married for the right reasons.
And I think the other thing is that for either it be the man or the woman, that marriage itself can never be the driving factor. Marriage is not the goal. The goal is...
I love you so much, and our lives have grown together, and we just...
And I find that whenever marriage is the goal, these time expectations become a focus, number one. And number two, that's such a subjective question because it's only relative to who you are, like Dave said. Who are you? What have you determined about yourself, and who is he? And I will also say this, it comes down always, I encourage my girlfriends, as I now will encourage you, to make an honest list. Talk out loud to yourself, and this is something you don't ever have to share with anybody, and ask yourself, when it boils down to it, what is the one core issue that you absolutely refuse to compromise in a relationship?
And especially if you're spiritually minded, you know what? Make it a matter of prayer.
And if it's that one thing, and I'll tell you, for me, that one thing is honesty. So that means if Dave happened to be a cheater and we had that issue going on in our marriage, if I know that about Dave, I then can, with honesty, can decide to accept everything about him and figure out where that's coming from and heal. Or lying, or if, whatever the case is, Dave was really in Boys to Men, he was never in Take 6. I can deal with that. Just tell me the truth, honey. Are you really not the true acapella king of the world? If that's the case, then just tell me. I'll deal with it.
Anyway, let's get to the second half of the question.
It's about us. The question is, even though we were childhood friends, did we date for a while to get to know each other before we actually got married?
You mean date as adults?
As adults.
Well, I mean, we dated off and on from young kids.
3 years old, yeah.
No, not 3. From young kids in grade school all the way through our adult life. And so by
he
the
wanted
time...
me for a long time.
By the time, and she didn't want me at all, obviously. By the time,
I
so
did.
it's not just me.
I know, but he started.
By the time we decided to get married, it wasn't a question of, do we know those things, those prerequisites we had already worked out long before, and it got to the point where we were in such a stage of love that we couldn't be apart. That led to our marriage.
And I will say this, that Dave and I went the route that I wish more people would go, and it was without expectation and complete exposure. We were naked character-wise to each other when we decided to come together and share a coat or put on a blanket or whatever you want to call it about our characters, because he knew everything about me, all the ups and downs, all the dirt and the glory. It was all exposed. There was no pretension. There was no pretend. It just was what it was. And he knew what he was getting into, and he knew that he couldn't even get his money back.
And so, Ladybird,
no returns.
To sum it up, you know what? Make sure it's the right person. Make sure it's the right reason. Stay prayerful. Stay prayerful.
I didn't pray for us, but other people were. And so now we'll pray for you. Because it works. It's true. I have to be real.
We'll have to get to that later, but you know what? That answered your question. At least we hope it did.
Enjoy the next Ask Dave and Marla right here in this spot.
Keep those questions coming. I'll bet you later.
A beautiful thing.